GM Twitter. This is the CyberBrokers AMA, something I think all of you have been waiting for patiently. So we're so excited to be here. I think the format today is going to be very simple. Josie, founder and CEO and queen of the Metaverse, is going to talk a lot and share her vision and the roadmap. And then at the end, we will open it up for questions. And also don't forget that on Thursday, same time, in Discord is our community town hall. So any questions that are community-based will kind of flow over to there, and we'll talk about community plan. Anything I missed, Josie?
No, I think that sounds great. I'll kick it off. Awesome. So first of all, thank you guys all for popping in here. Obviously, it's going to be recorded if you want to listen back, or if you've forgotten something, like Mike said, definitely feel free and pop in the chat and ask questions as we go as well, so you don't forget them. So this morning we released a blog. Super excited to get it out there, just of where we've been so far with CyberBrokers, where we're headed, and really putting things a bit on paper. I know it's so funny. I love the Brookhawk was posted a perfect comment on my post today saying, "Oh, you caved in. You put the roadmap. Thought you were no roadmap." Here's the thing: we have had an amazing 7 months since we've launched, of building and having this sort of sandbox area with you guys, and building quests and building, I mean, we'll go into all the things that we've built, and launching NFTs and building a huge core website in the background, like all of these things. And we have also been building out our team, which I'll talk more about both of those things later, but it's been a process, right? So there has been a huge majority of that time where it was 3 full-time employees, including myself, bootstrapping everything. So there's been a lot of bootstrapping. I'm really, really happy with where we're at. And now I feel like we're at this amazing pivotal point where we've been able to stack our team in such a powerful way that we are going to be able to execute and just iterate and launch things a lot faster, with this amazing team behind CyberBrokers. So that is sort of just to set the tone a little bit of why you're seeing this switch, and unveiling the curtain just a little bit is to let you guys know, we have been building, we have an amazing team that's going to be executing and has been executing over these past 7 months, which we can dive into. And we're really excited to bring you guys closer in that journey and tell you guys where we're headed versus leading you blind. So that is just to open this up a bit. But on to some of the things that we wrote about in the blog that you guys can check out as well. Our vision, just simply, so you all know, so you can learn it and share it with whoever is asking you about CyberBrokers. We are a Metaverse native media and entertainment company. So that is really, it's funny because as I've said it over these months, and chatting with folks and even hiring, people really have to think about that and what that means and why that makes sense for what we're building. And as we go into this, you'll understand it a bit more. But the 3 pillars that guide us in every decision we make, we are content, collectibles, and experiences. I know you guys so far have heard content, collectibles, and gaming is actually in experiences, but I'll tell you a bit of why we've expanded it. Content, starting there. The story, it's everything. It's not just a foundation that we're building everything on top of. We're building things within. It is so intertwined and marries so perfectly with the art. It really can't be separated. And something that I wrote in that doc, which I want to just say here as well, is that the narrative gives the art meaning, and the art gives the narrative texture. So those 2 things together are extremely powerful, and that's what makes intellectual property and IP extremely valuable and important and global, and what everyone wants to be a part of and look up to. And those things, there's like, we have the highest bar and standard there, and we will make sure that we're continuing to hit that with everything we do. So the story, with our content, that is a huge, huge portion. We are going to be building that out massively. Now we have a new creative producer who is full time with us, who's helping with narrative direction and game design. Super excited about that. So this is going to take a really fun new path that's going to blow this wide open and really get into the exciting other parts of TPL that you haven't heard of yet. So we're creating this entire world through multimedia content, which is text, obviously, written chapters and books, and eventually more text and things like that. Audio, right now, obviously, we have our audio podcasts, but we're going to expand that as well and do a lot of combination things with video. We will be using innovative technologies. I mean, you guys know from the Pixie Bowl AI, it was really fun um, uh, a really fun sort of like starter for a lot of the folks in this community to like try out AI for the first time, myself included. And it's something that I immediately dove into AI and XR and how, which is mixed reality, combining AR and VR, and how we can use this as a force multiplier for all of the content we do. So definitely expect to see more of that, and that'll unfold a bit as you see it come out. Um, and like I said, with the content and everything we're building that I just spoke about, we're building infrastructure and parameters. Like, we're building the rails for the world to be built so that if there are people within our community that want to build within it, they can. The physics, the tribes, the religion, the philosophies, like, all of these things about the world so that you're able to thoughtfully create within these parameters. And on creating, that's also a big part of content is user generated content. I'm extremely bullish and excited on how we're going to see UGC like really shape the future of what like how the metaverse is defined, how games are defined, how art is defined. Like, there are so many really innovative and amazing technologies that are allowing people to create their own content for games and worlds and stories that never knew that they had the power before. So that power is something that we're going to be harnessing for our own content, and we also are going to be harnessing to provide that to our community. Let me get on to the next one because I could probably talk about content for a million years. Um, so collectibles. Collectibles, obviously, as you guys know, what lives in our universe right now is the 10,001 Cyberbrokers. And then we also have been releasing these, as you found out, obviously, like the pre-revealed mech parts. Um, all of the things so far in our universe, which are these two collections, they have purpose. You guys know a bit about that. We've scratched the surface there. They will continue to fold into many, many things, and we will have more and more collectibles that are released within our universe. Everything is released with intent, and it interweaves with the storyline and everything that we do really beautifully. Everything is relevant. It opens up, our collectibles are going to open up new parts of our world for you, that I think are going to be quite exciting. So yeah, so we're definitely going to be ramping up collectibles. Experiences. So this is the section that has changed the title. We used to have gaming here. And then it was sort of like gamified experiences, and now we've brought it to experiences. And the reason why is because experiences is not just about gaming. Experiences straddles two things for us. It's about physical experiences and digital experiences. So both of those things that we do are intertwined themselves. When you think about physical experiences like conferences and meetups and installations and all of this, like they have a lot of the really creative digital aspects to them, like augmented reality, or even bringing our users into virtual reality in a physical location. Like those sorts of things are the reason why we wanted to make sure to broaden gaming to also include experiences, because that is so important. And doing things physically and also digitally, but globally, is a huge focus for us within this sector. And then gaming, obviously, so far, excuse me, so far it has been these gamified experiences with the quests. We've also done some other like interesting experiences, but the biggest thing has really been with the quests so far. That will continue to happen. It's going to look a little bit different, that I'll talk about in a moment. But we want, basically, the experiences adds interactivity to both of those two things I just talked about, to the collectibles and to the content. It gives that moment for you guys to really participate, share your voice if you want to, change the direction of the story through different actions that you take. Like this is actually, experiences are extremely powerful in how they direct and how they affect the other two pillars. Um, Okay, so what we've built so far, obviously, as you guys know, we have the Cyberbroker collection. We've released 13 chapters of our Paradigm Lost lore, which we have another one coming out shortly. Also, audio versions for all those chapters. We've done our quests. We have about 70,000 roughly TPL mecha parts out there. I know we did a little sneak peek of, excuse me, of a mech concept to 3D, which was really fun. It's one of our what it's one of the fun. It's one of the first mechs that we designed. That obviously is a bit more on the friendlier end, but I mean, don't mess with it. You can also see the human scale there to see how large that mech actually is. So that is really fun to start to sneak peek and show you guys a little bit of what is going on behind the scenes. By the way, actually, no, I'll go into that deeper in a second, but like that is talk about technical innovation, like being a main like value of our company. Like this is technically very innovative, I'd say, and hasn't been done before. Some of the things we're doing, especially with combining, that I think you guys are going to freak out about. Um, so we've also produced, obviously, the awesome New York party. We plan to do more. We're going to do a more casual meetup in London that we're really excited about, coming up really shortly. And then we're also going to try to do something larger this year as well, for the cyberbrokers community. There are we in this next year, we are going to make the events that we can and definitely do meetups at a lot of these. But as far as doing a huge installation and pop up, those will be more selective, I'd say, in the locations that we do it. And we really are trying to spread ourselves out and not only do the best like installations and pop-ups only in New York or in the US. We're really trying to think about our global fan base and spread out where we do these sorts of things. Um, and yes, and obviously, as you guys know, I mean, this is like, I, I, I feel bad even taking credit for the what we've built, because this is what you guys have built, and I'm giving you guys a huge pat on the back here. We have the community fund that obviously supports projects like the Lost Paradigm Banner, Pixie Bowl AI, and some of the other ones that are coming down the pipeline. And then we also have amazing community members and projects that are taking advantage of their cyberbroker assets and creating their own brands out of it, which recently we've seen Amari of Medina, which, by the way, wait, let's see. It'll probably play in the background. How many views does she have now? Over 100,000 views on YouTube. 113,000 views on YouTube for Amari, a cyberbroker who became this virtual influencer on her song Deeper. So, like, holy crap, like how cool is that Player Zero took their cyberbroker, created a virtual influencer of her, made she made amazing music, and she has over 100,000 views in like 2 weeks. Like, this is more eyes on our project. It's enhances their project, and we've helped them build out her story that makes sense in our world. Like, these are things, all these community based projects. I'm just overly excited about them. Okay, so now on to sort of like the team and then what's coming. So team, right now we are up to 13, which is really exciting and feels huge. That's a little bit of, including our full time, a couple advisors, also some of the part time and contractor workers with us. But like, this is like this is a stacked team. Like I said before, like, we were bootstrapping with 3+ and some change, and like, to have this stacked team that we've been building out, like, I am like I am so excited. So this, you guys will learn more about our team as things start to unfold. But obviously, we have an amazing dev on our team that has a ton of experience within Web3 and avatars and virtual worlds. A creative producer that has worked at a massive game that, once we introduce everyone, like, I'm sure you guys will know, and has a ton of background in narrative direction and also in game design. A marketer who has done amazing things for Disney and Marvel and Nike and who name like all the things you could think of. Obviously, a crazy awesome addition that is on this call with me, Mike, who is leading the community. So there's, I mean, and not to mention, I will mention just Brianna and Brooke, who's been with us, those early employees that have been with us for a while, making everything happen behind the scenes. So we have a lot of folks that are on our team. It's growing, and we're really excited to get this to a good spot where we're really able to produce the things that we want to produce at a faster rate, which is why we also talked about launching and iterating in here, which is a new I said in Discord today, it's my new BFF, launch and iterate. So anyways, what's coming? So you guys know that we've been talking about our new, like, core, our website, our hub, like the source of truth. We've been building this out for quite a long time, and I am like, I know I'm saying I'm excited about everything, and I'm sorry it sounds so cliche, but the website, I it's funny because I have so many calls and so many things and all the things to do, and every time we get on calls about the website and see all of everything unfolding and being designed, my excitement level and my smile, like, everything is just to level 100, and I can't stop smiling through it. I'm really excited. We're going to do a whole massive blog for you guys after the launch that really dives through, like, the entire process of creating the website. But you guys are going to see that it's not just a website, it is like many micro experiences all in one. And it doesn't just stop at the core that's launching next month. We will keep adding on to it. So really excited about that. World building is obviously a lot of things coming up with world building. We're going to be expanding our lore, like I said, with our new creative producer, and really, like, so far what we've read in the lore, which has been amazing to sort of set the scene, learn some characters, learn a little bit about the world. But we're going to do a ton of world building to lead up to like the start of cycle one. What's happened so far is the prologue. It's introduced you to the parameters, the characters, some locations. Next season is really going to take off in the way that we build the world. Creative innovation. So this is something that is really cool because, so if you guys don't know, obviously I started creating art back in crypto art back in 2017, and it was all physical paintings and cut up currencies and ink and spray paint and all of, like, the really fun stuff of, like, canvas and wood and it was such a different experience than now. But the reason why I mention it is um, learning about crypto and at the time, blockchain technology on the cutting edge, all of these things, and then learning about NFTs when CryptoKitties came out, and I immediately started playing right when they launched. All of those things wrapped up, and I knew that I was in a very innovative, fast-moving space. So, one of the first things that I taught myself after I became a crypto artist was how to animate. I just did YouTube tutorials and figured out how to animate to be able to make augmented reality filters on my physical art pieces, which that extended to the prints, extended to our stickers, extended to the t-shirts. It was something early on that I made that choice to do, even before I made my first NFT, because I wanted to stay up to date with how innovative, and like I wanted to push boundaries with the rest of the space in the way that I could, in the way creatively. And I had that same feeling when we introduced Pixie AI to you guys as the community. I had that exact same feeling of finally, holy shit, this is the new technology that is really, really exciting. And we, like I said before, need to use this as a force multiplier to everything that we're doing, to these main pillars we have: the content, the collectibles, the experiences. Like, this is where we start bringing in these innovative technologies and we stay ahead of the curve and really push the boundaries of like what this space has already done, what the in general space of AR and AI and all of these things have done, and package that perfectly to build it for, or to use it to build our community. So AI, AR, VR, 3D, all of those things. The important part here is that those things enhance what is the metaverse. So the metaverse, I do want to define that a bit because I know there have been some questions. Are you guys creating a metaverse? Um, I want to define that for you guys, because creating a metaverse, in my opinion, the way that I define metaverse, doesn't quite make sense. Creating for the metaverse does make sense. So even when we look back to like early like definition of metaverse from like Neil Stevenson from his book, it's an iteration of the internet, and it is immersive. It is the like experiential layer of the internet, which often in these books that you're looking back on are really heavy in virtual reality, and augmented reality experiences. But the amazing thing is that the metaverse is spans much larger than that. And we're starting to see that come to life. So we want to use all of these technologies and build for the metaverse. And just to be clear, like, yes, we are totally going to be building out in the future amazing, fully immersive 3D areas that you can walk around in and see the different locations of TPL from your character's perspective, either as a broker or a drifter or a mech. Like, we are totally going to be building those spaces. But I do want you guys to know that building for the metaverse is different than building a metaverse. Because if you're building a metaverse, often it means, at least the way it's defined today, you're building a virtual world that is pretty siloed. And that is like not our goal. So a lot of the decisions that we've made early on, even before we get to these amazing virtual spaces that are really immersive and are almost these little windows into the world, even before we get there, a lot of decisions that we're making with mechs right now and will be making with cyberbrokers and drifters are to build for the metaverse. So to build with formats that can be used within different worlds, can be taken and have your own expression on them, and really have a way that you can identify with them. So that's just like, there's a difference there that we can talk about more, but I just wanted to hit on that because it is so important. But anyways, so back to this. We want to use things with these innovative technologies like filters and animations, fun marketing stuff, gaming activations, fashion, like a lot of all of those things, like I said, will be the force multiplier for everything that we're doing. And obviously, there's a really amazing way that we tie UGC in here as well, which I spoke about a little bit earlier. Okay, questing. So I know this is really fun and probably something you guys were excited about reading, because so far with our quests, which everyone playing our quest has the biggest freaking brain ever and is just so smart, and huge shout out and thank you obviously to Cyphage for helping us build out all of our quests. So huge thank you to everyone there participating in our quests and helping us build them out. They have been amazing, but I will say that they have been really difficult for many people, including myself. Like, I will put myself any day in that bucket. So we are really excited that we're still going to have those really special experiences that are the more intense and puzzle solving. It's just going to look a little different. So that is going to be there for the people who are really want to enjoy that. But questing is going to take a big pivot with this first like cycle that we're launching. Quests will be approachable for anyone to participate in, and they're not going not all of them will be time gated where you only have a certain amount of time. Some of them you're going to be able to do at your own pace. There's going to be different levels. Mechs will have specialties, so you'll be able to do certain things that maybe other mechs or other characters that are different characters that are piloting mechs couldn't do. You're going to be able to level up. You're going to be able to collect resources. You're going to be able to use those resources to craft really awesome accessories and weapons for your mechs and other collectibles and beyond. Like, this is going to be a really freaking exciting way that we introduce some really like amazing content into the world. So questing, like I said, you're not going to have to be an expert. Anyone is going to be able to play. We're going to do some things that are solo questing. We're also, like, what I personally love, I love the community aspect of questing, and we are not going to lose that. So we're also going to have the community aspect of questing. Questing, the new revamp, is not going to happen probably until late Q1 of 2023. But what I will say is that we are going to be launching and iterating. Like I said, our new BFF, those two words. There may be some bumps along the road of things that might not work and things that might work, since we're doing things that really are out of the box and like there's nothing to look to see how to do these things. There's no manual. So there's going to be bumps along the road. We're hopeful and excited that you guys are coming along with us and help us iron that out. But like, I'm confident that the new way of our questing is going to be really, really exciting and satisfy a lot of the different players who want to take part in it. Also, there's going to be resources and fun ways that you can craft accessories and weapons if you don't want to quest. If you are the person who wants to be able to craft and that's your jam and you just want to figure out recipes and all the cool ways to make weapons and you do not care about questing, there's going to be a way that you can access resources as well. So more of that will unfold as we start to release more info on that. So mechs, obviously we've put that teaser pic of how a specific mech could look. I will say as a disclaimer that like that is a fully themed mech. The really cool part that I'm excited about is there's going to be the time when you guys take your assets and burn them to reveal what they actually will be, which is going to give you a massive range of all of these different themes that we've built out, and you are going to be able to mix and match your mechs. So it's you don't have to have a full set of Lupus or a full set of Nexus or Behemoth or Enforcer or whatever Ravager, whichever you have. You can mix and match. We will be very clear on the rules with mech assembly about what before you actually hit craft like assemble what you are getting. So you will know the metadata, the stats, the everything that comes with it, what it's classified as. You will know that before you mint your final mech. So just know that you're going to be able to play around with that a bit. And this is our Genesis set of mechs. So like, you guys were here from the start, have been collecting them. or if you haven't already, definitely go out and get yourself a mech, because this is a really exciting like point. Like, you need a mech right now to quest for a new season of quest, so definitely get yourself one. But this is our genesis set of mechs. Like, we will in the future, as the metaverse grows to what it's going to be, which is right now tiny, but it's going to be millions and millions and millions and millions of people. We will release more assets that are going to be able to quest, because we can't token gate all of our gamified experiences to the small supply of mechs that are out there now. I can also answer more questions on that as we unfold that, or if you guys have things that come up. So, and a reminder that mechs do need operators. They can't be used by themselves. So obviously right now that is a big advantage to cyber brokers, because they're going to be able to quest immediately with their mechs. But we've also been speaking about drifters, which are coming down the pipeline, and drifters are also going to be able to operate mechs. Um, mech the mech assembly, I've spoken a little bit about what that's going to look like. Drifters, obviously the information in the blog is a little limited. You guys will see as that unfolds, but that's going to be a really exciting way. It's something that we've planned from the very start of launching CyberBrokers, and you'll see it written in, obviously, to the very first chapter of our prologue. Is the concept of drifters, which are the humans that inhabit the earth and plug into TPL, into the paradigm lost, to live, because the earth is frozen over. So there's going to be a really exciting things with the drifters that will unravel as we start to pull that thread in the new year. That, I think I've rambled for 30 minutes. So thank you for dealing with me a little bit sick today and rambling this whole time by myself. But I think that is what I wanted to cover from the blog that we released this morning. And then I know we probably had some additional questions come in. So I'm going to let Mike hop on here and start asking some of those, so we can get those answered as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it was great to hear the roadmap that you earlier verbalized, because you added some, other details in there, and, some little leaks here and there that maybe people will pick up on. The first question I have, actually I have a set of questions that I'm going to call common questions that came in from the holder survey. And the holder survey was instrumental in kind of understanding how the community as a whole had questions. And then we're going to loop into individual questions that are being asked in general. So let me get through these initial set of questions from everyone from the survey first, and then we'll ask people up. Take a breath. And all the information you just shared, it's obviously been in the works for a long time. So how does it feel to share some of it publicly?
Oh, I mean, it feels great. It feels really awesome to be able to tell you guys, like, hey, this is what we've been working on. And like I said, now that we're having this stacked team that can help execute on these things much faster, I am beyond excited to start releasing this stuff to you guys.
Oh, we can't wait.
And not to mention also, like, how hard everyone has been working in the background. I mean, I know it'll pay off, but like, on the talk about, like I said, technical innovation with mechs, like, this is no joke. Being able to like skeletons and rigging and making these 3D assets usable, but you get to determine what they are as a user yourself, and then we have to actually generate like a total mesh to be able to work in world. And like, there's a million things that go into this that are we've been figuring out behind the scenes, like, along building this whole thing, that I'm really excited to finally start telling everyone about it, so we can bring you in some of that journey. Because honestly, this stuff, like, as cliche as it sounds, like, really has not been done before. Like, we know for a fact that it has not been done before, the way that we are releasing and assembling and making mechs.
Yeah, I'm with you. I can't wait for everyone to see it. And just keep in mind, what Josie talked about earlier. this was created without all these people. All these people have started coming on, across this time. So when you see what's created, understand the small number of people that created it at the beginning. Um, while we're on mechs, everyone's obviously excited for them. You've seen some pics and teases of what they're going to look like. Can you tell us what remaining parts we have left for mechs?
Yeah, so there's one more part left for mechs, which you guys will get in the next quest coming up, in a very short amount of days. So there's one part left for quest or for mechs. There is, I will say, like with talking about like how intense it has been to build mechs and make it exactly how we want. Not to mention like just simply like the concept art bringing to full 3D and bringing to rigging, but actually making these NFTs like composable from the user and then make them usable within worlds. Like there is still like we are still ironing things out. It has like come a tremendous way, but after you guys get this next part, there is going to have to be a little bit of patience. Obviously, we've closed the mech claim period at the end of this year. So make sure, even if you guys if you're CyberBroker holders and have not been questing, you still have mech parts to claim. So make sure you're claiming those by the end of the year, because there's going to be a little bit of a pause for the like there's no more mech parts being released this year after the one coming down right now, and then really kickstarting once that claim window closes, the reveal of everything and the assembly of everything really fast after that.
Perfect. And let's follow that up with one more, mech specific question. So, can you share a little bit more about how mech parts will be revealed and then assembled?
Yeah, so there is going to be right now you guys have 1155s. That is what your mech parts are. There's going to be a time that basically a burn function will open up that you can obviously be very cautious. We are not doing some stealth like reveal thing. We will put plenty of marketing and you will know what to do when this happens. But just my security disclaimer.
Good
Um,
idea. Yeah, and it'll be from the website, our website only.
yes, exactly. But there will be a reveal mechanic where you're going to go in and you're going to be able to burn your parts and actually get 721 assets of all of the different unique themes that you've rolled. So there's going to be definitely some really fun time to mix and match. And if you want to make a full theme, or if you want, I think honestly, I think it's going to be really fun to find themes that mix really well together. Because I have a feeling that there's going to be, there's definitely going to be people creating full themes, but there could be some really unique area of like exploration and creativity with mixing and matching different classes and different themes as well. So yes, they're going to be you're going to reveal them by burning them and getting the official parts. There's going to be time to trade those to get what you like. And then there is going to be the assembly window, which opens up to actually start assembling. I will say that if you want to hold some parts back and you don't want to burn everything and you want to keep some unrevealed to sell or have a surprise factor later or whatever it is, you can do so. So it's totally your preference of how you want to reveal your own assets.
Okay, and I want to poke a little bit there because you and I understand what you just said, and I want to make sure that translates to community understanding.
Sure.
So I hold a enforcer part.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to reveal it, and how does styles relate to that?
So let's say you hold 4 enforcer arms. Let's say you burn all 4 enforcer arms and you get your official 3D arms that you can go assemble your mechs with. Um, Even though you're burning 4 enforcer arms, they're the same class and they look like the same NFT because it's the same 1155. When you burn them, you are going to get four, maybe the same, maybe variety. You could get one of each of different, sorry, I'm wording this weird. There's going to be different themes built for each class. So there's an array of different style enforcers, an array of different style lupus and nexus and so on. So it's possible that when you burn your 4 enforcer arms, you could get 4 different styles of enforcer arms. They will not necessarily all look the same. Is that more clear? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I said that a little bit confusing.
No, it's good. And just to add on to that, the statement's already been said. You can mix and match any part you get. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter level. It doesn't matter style. You can put them all together how you want.
Yes.
think,
I
I
will
think
say that we will, before, like I said, there's going to be very clear stat and class output, because depending on how you mix things, this is a parameter that we're not revealing yet, but depending on how you mix things, will be how your class is output for the final mech. So there will be some strategy here for you guys, and you will find out the strategy once you start seeing everything being revealed and you see the different stats that are placed with each asset. And once you are in the assembly room, you're going to really clearly be able to see what you're going to mint before you mint it. So there will be some strategy with how you build your mech. If you just want to build aesthetically, obviously that's great too. But there could be something for both people there.
perfect. Thank you. I think that statement right there is something everyone wanted to hear and is going to be dissecting for the next week in Discord. So, and just to close that piece out, because clarity, it's about preference. You can decide you like something and try to trade for those, or you can just keep what you got and put it all together. It doesn't matter. That's a choice you have. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Let's move on from mechs. One recurring question from the holder survey was a desire to see cyberbrokers engage in more collaborations, partnerships, strategic relationships, basically as a way to expand brand and reach.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can talk about there?
So here's the thing with this. We have really amazing relationships that we've started to form and create some really interesting thoughts and starting points there. But right now, really, our focus is to build out our universe. We have a lot of world building to do for this cycle that's coming up. We need to build out our core, build out all of the not all of, but some of these corners of TPL, so you guys can understand, like I said, the parameters and the theologies and the religions and the tribes. Like, there's so much to understand here. We need to focus here with us a little bit. But are there like partnerships in the background that we've been talking about and we'll do things in the future with? Absolutely. Is there something that I'm ready to tell you guys right now that something is coming soon? Not yet. So we will keep you guys posted on that, and know that we are having conversations, but it's we have to do things at the right pace, which means building for our universe right now.
Perfect. Thank you. I think, as a community, we love hearing all the stuff about how, we can get involved and, we can create, whatever level we want. And the roadmap contains a huge amount of information about how that's going to happen for us. I think, those people are ecstatic about what they're hearing today. At the same time, I was curious, we have a variety of holders. So could you talk about the value for those that are more passive holders and don't have the time to interact as much?
Yeah, so I mean, it totally depends on the reason you're holding any project, by the way. So our cyberbrokers is going to be for some people and it's not going to be for others, and that, like, it will not offend me if there's a reason. Like, it's totally why you collect the art. I know a lot of people that collect cyberbrokers because they were collectors of my crypto art, and they are a fan of the art, and that's why they collect. And maybe they don't participate in the quest, but they love the art, and that's why they're here. then that's amazing. Like that is your goal, that is what you want. So like you go ahead and be a collector and be a passive person in the universe. That is 100% okay. Like you don't have to participate in anything if you don't want to. So it totally depends on like where you want to sit within like the level of engagement that you want. If you want to participate, obviously there are areas for you to do so, and we're building a huge playground for you to take part in. So it totally depends on why you want to collect, and that is really up to the main collector. And like I said, cyber brokers in the way that we're building might not be for everyone. For me personally, I think we're on a rocket ship, and I'm really freaking excited with where we're going. So I'm confident that people who are holding for whatever reason are going to find something that they're really excited about, whether it just be the art itself or whether it be the more hands-on engaging like the user that wants to be more engaged.
Perfect. Okay. One more question from the Holder survey, and then we're going to start taking individual questions. So quality is something that permeates through everything CyberBrokers does. And I'm not sure the community fully gets this sometimes. So I wanted to see if you could speak briefly about why this is important for you and maybe an example.
Yeah. Quality, it's interesting because there is something I will never ever let go of or put in the back seat, and it's quality of any of the stuff we release. And that's like quality of physical goods, quality of digital goods. Like we are putting heart and soul into every single thing we create. And if we want you guys to be a part of this universe, like you have to see that as well. Obviously you've seen the work that has gone into cyber brokers. We have put like our cyber brokers are made of SVGs, which literally means the art is translated into code and stored on Ethereum forever. Like we have etched that into like the as permanent as we can into the internet, right? So like this is something that we've done from day one, and we will continue to do with every single thing that we do. With Max, like talking about how you know innovative and how high our standards are for the art and the tech that we're doing with Mex. Like these are things that we will never ever sacrifice. And even like talking about some of the physical things, like obviously you guys know some fun hats and shirts that you guys got in New York. We had another item that I was a little bummed that we didn't get to launch, a degen kit which had some really cool items in it, but we literally in New York are seeing, or before, right before we got to New York, are seeing the items, and not everything was how it should have been. It wasn't perfect, and unfortunately it's something that we just ate the whole entire cost on producing 500 of these, and we didn't release them because it's not something that I will ever sacrifice. And maybe it can be a fun like memento in the future of like 10 years down the road we look back on it and we show the degen kit and like laugh about what was wrong with it. But it's just not something I'll ever sacrifice. And I think that it's something that I hope you guys appreciate and see as we build all of the other collectibles out that we're building as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that, because I think there's a lot of things that they don't see, that's important sometimes to share those stories so they understand what really goes into things. Because once you see it, it's been vetted so much. Okay, I'll stop. From Mr. T in chat, will the new website have a mech marketplace of any kind?
So there is going to be a really fun like storyline marketplace. It's not probably what you're typically expecting. Yes, there's gonna be some fun stuff there. We do have to be I'm a little reserved on what I want to say, because obviously we do have to be cautious with hosting any of our own sorts of marketplaces and sales tax and all those fun things that all of the legal people in crypto are still trying to figure out. So there's going to have to be some flexibility there. But yes, we will have some really fun uh, storyline and marketplaces around certain things um, on our new site. It won't be launching with the initial core. It'll launch very shortly after as a microsite experience.
This is from Baby AMA or AMA. Are Memnock, Chris, and Cyb Ben still part of the team? Haven't seen them in a long while.
So Ben and Chris, if you guys don't know, Ben and Chris are very good friends of mine, and I've known them for years, way before Cyberbrokers. I was freaking over the moon when I asked them if they would work on Cyberbrokers with me, and they said yes because they are amazing and brilliant, and like they're just rock stars. Um, Ben and Chris both have amazing projects that they've been working on for, in some cases, like years and years and years that are their babies, that they lead and have to focus on like full time. And they've helped me, like when I'm talking about these early days of bootstrapping, they've helped me bootstrap things in these early days without having like the full team built out yet. So yes, they are a part of the team as founding members. They are going to be advisors moving forward, and we have hired folks on our team full time to fill in those gaps that they were helping me with over the past like beginning 6 months. But yeah, oh, so I saw a question come in. What's up with Mirrorware from McDugget? So I put this in the blog as well this morning. So it's really interesting because Mirrorware was Cyberbrokers originally like was going to be built in parallel with Mirrorware. Cyberbrokers was going to be the funding for both Cyberbrokers and Mirrorware to kickstart and build out the universe. But then I really the like things shifted for me after Cyberbrokers launched, where I realized that we needed to really flesh out what the universe of Cyberbrokers is extremely clearly and the collectibles within it before we dive deeply into Mirrorware. So I needed to put that on pause for a little bit so I could position Cyberbrokers where it needs to be. So I will share more updates on Mirrorware. To be honest with you, the order that things will happen, we're getting through obviously assembling mechs, the new resourcing and crafting, questing, drifters. And once drifters are released, then things with Mirrorware will start to make a lot more sense. And that's when we'll start talking about all things Mirrorware. Hey, Easy.
Hey, it works. I was partially just testing out the request to make sure that was functioning, but this is all so exciting. It's so amazing to be a part of this just incredible ride, and everything that the Cyberbrokers team is doing is just top notch. I wish that I was able to participate more, especially in the lore and stuff, because that's some of my favorites, but just other shows and meetings and stuff often interfere as I have my fingers in a few pies. But a very basic question, and it may have been covered because I did hop in a little late from another call. Can is it like one mech per broker, or as many mechs as we can make from our parts, regardless of how many brokers we hold?
As many as you can make from your parts. And there's like when we start, you won't see this immediately. Well, you will see stats and different enhancements immediately from your mech that you can look into, but you will start to see as the quests come out that you're going to be able to specialize your mechs, and you may want more than one mech because you want different specialties to be able to do certain things that you obviously you will be able to do with different types of mechs, but you could probably do better with a certain specialty. So I imagine that people will mix and match the cyberbroker that they put in their mech because maybe they want a certain talent to enhance their stats for certain things, or you'd be able to use the same cyberbroker if you just have one with different mechs and see how that pans out as well.
Super awesome. That's exactly what I was hoping to hear.
Hey, I'm Farrell. Just pop in when you're ready.
Oh, I'm ready. Okay, my mic was off. Oh, thanks. Great stuff again from you guys. the AMA was looking forward to it. Maybe my question would be, since you guys, are so into details of the TPL and everything, any words about the unit and the, token or the tokenomics of that virtual metaverse that what you guys are and we are building?
Sorry, just to be clear, I was reading a question at the same time. I apologize. Do you mean like, are we going to be releasing a token for this metaverse?
Or if not, what do you think about it anyway, somehow?
Yeah. So, right now there are not plans to release a token for TPL. Sorry for all those people who want to pump their bags. It's not currently in the cards. There's going to be ways that you can participate in the quests with and get in-game currency is how you could think of it, versus like an actual token that is traded. So it would be something that would stick with you and your account to be able to collect more resources. And then obviously this is something we're still designing with our game designer. So don't take any of this like too strictly, but no, right now we're not planning on our own token. And the amazing thing about the metaverse and crypto in this digital space right now is like there's Ethereum. There's chains out there where we can build this and where we can have this global 24/7 trade without having to centralize it around our own token.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. I wanted to ask, when you spoke about user-generated content, I wanted to ask, like from the angle of the rights, that users have to this, generated content, is it like exclusive, or do they have to share it with the corporation? And to what extent can they use it outside of like the game? I don't know if you understand my question.
So
You
like,
spoke
are you
about
thinking like, what rights do you have to the content that you create or to the assets that you hold?
the assets that you hold and you said something about content. I don't know if I heard you right, but then you said something about the content that users could use their mesh to actually create whatever it is, depending on how you do it. So after creating it, does it belong to you, or does it belong to the project? And can you use it outside, of the context of the project? And if you can, like, so where does your right stop then?
Okay, so I think there are a few things in here. So just to clarify, if you own a cyberbroker, you have commercial rights to your cyberbroker. So you are able to make $1 million on your cyberbroker, create a whole brand around them, create them into a star, put them on t-shirts, create them into a restaurant, make $1 million. You're able to do that. So that obviously there are some parameters in there of keeping the cyberbroker art to its original form, like not there's some things that we have to be cautious with that I can answer specific questions on, but we have a pretty permissive license when it comes to commercial rights to cyberbrokers themselves. When we're starting to think about other assets that we're going to be releasing within this world, a lot of them are going to share that same ethos, but there's also going to be this added layer of being able to bring them across many worlds and not just use it in our own ecosystem. I think that was a partial question in there. So yes, we would love that. That is a huge goal. We don't want to just build by ourselves. Like when we're talking about building for the metaverse and not building our own like siloed area over here, we're thinking about standards of, obviously standards still need to be defined in a lot of cases with 3D and gaming assets because a lot of them are all over the place. But we have people that we're talking with, everyone that we're working with, we are trying our very hardest to work together with worlds and all of these people that we know to build with as much of a standard as we possibly can, so that you are able to take these assets across the metaverse, is the goal. And at first it may be small, with a couple of them being able to be used and working, but then eventually the really cool thing about NFTs, or even like I was talking about my art in the early days, like we can update these things. So we can add more and more simulations for these different assets that we release, as we get more variation and more of the standards defined for different worlds. So yes, we do want you to bring them across the metaverse and the world for sure. I hope that answered both of your questions. If not, let me know.
Yeah, it did absolutely. But when you spoke about the license, this license is it going to be made available to the holders, right? So that we don't
Yes.
get caught up in a situation where you don't actually know your full rights to this particular NFTs, and probably you get yourself entangled in some.
I'm not sure if I heard the last part of your question, but yes, it will be made available to our holders on our new site launching in November. So the whole document will be made there, and we'll also try to give you guys we'll try as hard as we can to give you guys a brief on it without all the legalese, of some areas that are totally up for grabs, and then some areas that we have to just be cautious with, of like drastically, mixing and changing the art, and then trying to have that stand as the original. So there's some parameters we have to work with, but we overall it's very permissive, and we will put that with our new site in November.
Okay, all right.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Let me take one question and just give you a break for a minute there. There was a question from Button. Would love any updates on the event in London. Love meeting up with the CB fam. And I'll answer this. We are going to London, and we can't wait to meet up with CyberBrokers and Avastars in a joint party. Those who filled out the survey will be getting ticket links probably before Friday. And then soon after, we will make a public announcement of all the details, and then others can buy tickets as well. So I can't wait to show you the venue. It's big, it's themed. We're going to have our own private area, and we're going to be able to mingle with other people, as well as some merch, maybe. So look forward to telling you more about that, and stay tuned later this week. Josie, let's transition into one question more from the chat before we go back to listeners. Is that okay?
Yep, let's go for it.
Okay. So are mechs going to be on chain from McDugget?
No, they will not be. Mechs, it it as much as we would love to, putting over 11,000 mechs fully on chain is just not possible. But we will make sure that everything that we do with mechs is going to be accessible to you in a way that you're going to be able to use it in the way that you want to. So no, of course, we're going to store these things on IPFS and make sure that they're stored in the safest way possible, but they're not possible to be put on chain.
Yeah, and so probably a little clarification. 3D files are huge.
Yes, and not to mention the way that we have to, in order for a 3D file to be able to actually be used in a virtual world, typically it needs to be, and anyone ring me after if I'm using the wrong terminology, but it needs to be one single mesh. If you have a ton of different meshes and all of the parts that don't really connect, it is not going to be usable. So you can imagine when all of you guys assemble your mech and they're going to look completely different, we are going to have like with CyberBrokers, we could store the same shirt once, right? We could store the same mask once. and put it across, like share and mix and match it across all of these different cyber brokers to create 10,001. But with MEX, there will literally be a unique mesh output for every single MEC. So it's a very different process than it would be to store an SVG.
I want to come back to this one from Mr. T, because I think it's going to be hard to fully explain this until they see it as far as like the parts, but we'll try one more time. So this is talking about referencing burning mech parts. By style, do you mean design, colors, 4 different colored arms rather than tactical stylings?
Got it. So imagine the one that you guys saw in the blog today. This is sort of like our overgrown return to nature mech. This is a theme. There are going to be many themes that we haven't named yet within this collection of different types of mechs. So not all mechs are going to look like the base of that nature one that we sent through. It's not like all mechs will look like that and they'll all just have different styling or coloring or textures on them. Some are going to be super angular and fast and like and sword or edge like. Some are going to be clunkier and pieced together, and some are going to be, there's going to be a mix of these different themes that we're talking about, where like a mech is fully made to like capture that theme. So you're going to be able to if, let's say, I'll just say, for example, if there are 10 enforcer themes, you have the possibility of, when you burn your enforcer parts, getting one from any of those 10 themes. So you're not necessarily guaranteed that you would get all of the same theme. It's going to be reaching your hand into a mixed bag of all the different types of enforcer arms and pulling out how many ever you may have. Is that more clear, Mike?
Yeah, thank you. And I think we'll follow up with this probably in Discord with all sorts of questions afterwards.
Yes.
But the mechs are here, and I just wanted to make sure those questions kind of got taken care of. Look at your chat and let me know if you want any more. Is there any other people that want to come up?
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, great to hear. I have a quick question about the drifter drop at some point in time, whenever that happens. Now, the CyberBrokers are OGs. The mechs, once they're forged, once they're assembled and burned, are they get a legacy kind of like drop of drifters? I know it's probably way too far out to even think about that stuff.
It's not too far out for us to be thinking about it, but it's too far out for us to give a ton of information on it. So I don't know if I can answer your question yet, but I like your question.
Okay, fair take. The other thing would be is, let's just say I got a bunch of mechs that I assemble. So I'm assuming then that, so you're kind of adding a factor of rarity, and also I think the market will probably determine rarity on its own anyway for desirability. But what about renting your mechs to others? I know that's a different kind of marketplace, but is there some way that may be facilitated?
Yeah, so I think that there's a couple things here. Like, there's going to be things that are not going to happen immediately, right? So like there are going to be things that happen down the line. But when we're talking about specialties, the really exciting part is even if you have one mech and one cyber broker or whatever it may be, there are going to be quests that force and involve like community members to like help each other along the way. So you could also get help from someone who has a different specialization on something. So there's going to be like a mix there. Also, you said something earlier that I just want to touch on, like with cyber brokers sort of being the first and like we're introducing these new assets. I do want to stress that CyberBrokers are like our OG assets. They were the entry point into our universe. They're always going to be the premier access point into our ecosystem, like period. So like there we will like CyberBrokers will always be taken care of, number one. Number two, we will also be implementing more things that we haven't as much in the past, but like we will be implementing more things that are talent based and play more into your stats and have some of the variety in the CyberBrokers rather than just making it the same exact experience no matter what kind of cyberbroker you have. So I do want to also stress like how important the cyberbroker collection is as those 10,001, and that they will still be like the premier access point for anything that we're launching.
Wonderful. I appreciate your man. You're on point with every answer. You don't your tech skills and your your delivery of everything is just absolutely awesome. I just wanted to make one note because I haven't spoken to you directly before, but I followed you since I think 2017, 18, and I think I don't
awesome.
know. Right. I think you were out here in Venice one time, and I sent you a message because you were with Brecky, I think, way back then, like as in doing some art. So
that's so cool.
yeah, it's old school, nostalgic. Anyway, I'll leave it at that, and thank you very much. I really appreciate everything.
Yeah, it's super nice chatting with you. I'm going to actually, I'm on the CyberBrokers account right now, but if I'm not following you on my personal, I'm screenshotting you so I can make sure I do so.
And
Awesome.
Salio is our LA broker, and we need to figure out how to do an LA meetup.
Yes, for sure. That'd be awesome.
Okay, we're going to do a couple more questions here. I have one question from chat that I want to ask, and then I think, Josie, if you could pick maybe one more, that would be good. Josie, you mentioned that the team is building a world where you can walk around with your character. Any plans to do it on Other Side by Yuga or any other metaverses?
So I spoke about this a little bit before. Our intent with building everything that we're making, all of our 3D assets, is that they are going to be what we know and the research that we've done and everyone we've spoken with. We have taken their thoughts and their advice to be able to try to build the most in the most standard way possible. Obviously, like standard for this means different than like it doesn't just mean simple and like the basic way. It means that we're trying to build our assets, the way we rig, the way we create the 3D asset to be usable in as many worlds as we possibly can. So if Other Side or any other world for that matter supports a typical standard that most people do, yes, this will be usable there. There is going to be some definitely like more one-on-one like or curated partnerships with certain worlds that we're going to be working and building as big as we possibly can so that they can support future things like accessories and weapons and fun things like that, because that does have to be built in to be supported within their world. So yes, it's something that we're thinking about, something that with launch we're hoping to have like our MVP of all of this working in a specific world we've been working with, but the hope and the plan is to make this usable across any and all, within reason, of course, any and all in the beginning phases. I will, instead of I'll just bring up these last 3 requests, and then I think we'll close up there. So I'm going to bring up Button, Sean, and Dot, and then we will go in that order, and we'll close up there. So Button, do you have a question?
Yeah, well, first off, you need to know that you guys are running the #1 most impressive, most innovative community of all time in Web3. You guys are killing it. I mean, no one's doing it to your level. The story, the innovations that you're bringing to the Web3 space is phenomenal. I love it. I am grateful to be a part of it. My wife and I do everything we can to participate. And you guys reward those who participate. It's an amazing thing, and it rarely is seen in Web3, yet it's something that is so beautiful that can't be done in Web 2.0. So first off, just want to give you guys a shout out. I have a minor question because you guys already low-key answered my question about London. You guys want us to dress up? Are we dressing up as our cyber brokers, or what's the plan? I'm excited.
I'll answer that. I will be in attire to some degree, and you are certainly welcome to dress up if you like. It will be a semi-nightclub environment, so you will not look out of place doing that.
And also, I am really, really sorry, guys, that I am very sad that I am not going to be making an appearance in London this time, because I had something that is conflicting that I've had for a long time. But I will be making it across the globe for future ones. So I apologize. But Mike is all you need. He's a freaking partier. You guys saw him in New York if you were there, with the most amazing costume. And he will be able to put on a good time for everyone. I'm sure of it. Dot, do you want to go ahead?
Yes, I'm so excited. Josie Bellini out here like Hiawatha, taking care of your baby, innovating in the new world. I'm so stoked. I mean, like, I just have to fan out for a second, because really like what you guys are achieving, which is, if I'm hearing you correctly, yeah, we're going to be generating mechs that will be fully rigged 3D assets. Like, because my real interest here is I'll be able to bring this into like Webiverse, which is the open source, that's an open metaverse where people are able to build on. Is that kind of what we're building toward here? Is that level of interoperability with our mechs at Mint?
So this is something like, I'm glad you're bringing this up, because like this is the juice that I don't know if a lot of people fully understand. And for me, it's been a huge learning process of like understanding this. But yeah,
Tell them.
the Web3, the Web3 and what we're all building for, and what is so important, has been core to like everything that I've done in the past, and like where this team is striving for. And everyone on the team has the same belief, is that we have to build to make the metaverse, which means that it has to be cross-compatible, it has to be open, it can't be gated to our siloed corner of the universe. So it is something that is like not easy to do, especially because there isn't a guide yet. We're talking with all of these worlds to literally make the guide of how to do this, but also while still being like agile and dynamic enough that if as the metaverse does grow, new standards do get introduced, that we're able to adopt those and make sure that our assets are following that. So we're doing, with all the knowledge we have and all the research we've done, we're making the best decisions possible today to be able to be used in these worlds, like you're talking about with Webiverse and another world that we're also working in, to have these to be able to be usable. What I will say is there are still some hurdles that we have to get over with worlds. So not just getting your mech in there is going to be something that once we can figure out, that's pretty much figured out. But there are things like holding your weapons, or you're putting your accessories on your mech. That is going to be a work in progress with some of these worlds, because not all of them have figured out their accessory UI UX and how to make it work and persistent across the whole world already. So there's definitely going to be some experimenting with the different platforms, and that I'm really, really excited for, actually. But we're going to be like the first, I'm pretty sure, in what we're doing, to have at Mint of these mechs be usable in these worlds to go do things in. And by the way, it's not something we're generating on the back end. It's something that you guys are placing together yourselves, and then we have an entire process ourselves where we make sure that the skeleton, the rig, that everything is snapping and working exactly how it should be. We output a complete mesh with all of your specific specifications and color choices and all of these different things that you decide. We're creating you a one-of-one asset to be usable in these worlds. So like, yes, it is extremely difficult. I think it'll be extremely rewarding. And I think you guys are going to be beyond excited to start seeing these really like take shape. And when we talk about like CyberBrokers reaching every corner of the metaverse, this is the first really big step that we are taking in the 3D realm to make that happen. Sorry, I ranted there a bit, but I'm excited.
No, it's
I'm
so
excited about your
exciting.
excitement, and you know what that means. And
Yeah, it's so hard, and you can't really convey it to people until you've said, you know, it'd be cool, and then you look into it, and it's technically difficult. And I look forward to when people line up to tell you guys that, you know, just all of the things they say, like, oh, it's not that great, like they said about storing the highest level art that I've seen stored on chain. Yeah, so I look forward to when all of the other people line up to maybe with like sour grapes, not not fully
Yes,
acknowledged.
and hey,
I get it.
here's the thing. We'll welcome them with open arms, right? Like that's the thing is like, if, like I said before, CyberBrokers and what we're doing is not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and that is 100% okay, but it's not going to stop us from building anything that we're building. And it's not going to stop us from getting to all the places that we know we're headed towards. So like, if it's not your cup of tea, 100% fine. It's not going to be everyone's. If it is your cup of tea and you're excited about what we're doing, like stay along the journey, because we've been innovative before in our tech and our art and everything that we do, and we are going to continue to do that. And like, the really hard part here is going to be one-upping ourselves every time, but that's the goal, right? Like, we are going to be competing with ourselves to make the next thing better and better and better, and continue to enhance all of the previous assets that we've released to do the same thing. So thank you for sharing that excitement with me.
Can I have one more question?
Yeah, go for it.
Total switch on a total kind of track switch. I'm very, you know, I'm involved in the writers' room, and it's very near and dear to my heart. So you have somebody new coming on that will be the content director. Will that affect how the writers' room is acting? Is there some alpha there that might be able to be shared?
So the writers' room, obviously, as you know, being in it, is a really important and like beautiful part of our content, where we get all of these brains together and have more ideas and pick the best ones as a unit, which we love. So those things will still happen. What's really exciting about our creative producer that's joining us is that he is an expert and has built many stories from the ground up with narrative and world building. So what's going to happen is we are going to be doing a ton of world building that we'll let in the writers' room on, and you guys will also be helping us with some things, or giving us feedback on things that we shoot over to you guys. And a lot of that for a while is going to be behind the scenes. It's almost serving as like this Bible of rules that all of the stories have to abide by. So it's not necessarily something that we're going to put out to everyone, but we've already been working on like pages and pages of like the background and the rules to this world that I'm really excited about, that the writers' room will definitely get the first peek at.
I think that is the perfect spot to stop, because frankly, the light bulb just went off for holders and Dot specifically, and people in Discord, that these are going to be fully 3D mechs that you choose what to create them with, and they become usable assets in the metaverse. So for me, that's like the perfect stopping point.
Yeah, no, let's do it. And thank you guys. I mean, I'll say my thank you at the end. Go ahead, Mike, with yours. But this was awesome hearing you guys ask your questions live and being able to absorb all of the stuff that we just said. So thank you. But go ahead, Mike.
I would like to also segue, Dot, on what you talked about, Writers Room. From a community perspective, we're upping it. There is now CyberBrokers Alpha Command, and that's going to be something we'll talk about more on Thursday. But it's not just writers that we want to give places to be creative with. There's visualizers from AI. There's people that want to do games and all these other things. And Alpha Command is going to up that ability for people to participate. So make sure you show up on Thursday at 2 p.m. in Discord. We'll be talking about the community side of all of this and how we can serve you in being a member of CyberBroker and what that gives you.
The following is a conversation that occurred before the AMA started, and I thought was important to add here towards the end.
Just looking at everyone flowing in here and staring at all your, obviously a ton of familiar, amazing faces from the community and some new faces that I don't recognize. I'm super excited to have all of you in here.
Yeah, it's interesting. I going through the holders survey, I see a lot of people in the holders survey that I don't see in Discord a lot, but I'm seeing them here, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's funny because not everyone. I was just catching up with a friend that I've had in this space for like, I don't know, probably close to 4 years now, and he was like, I'm terrible, I never go on Discord anymore. It's basically his Discord is like how I am to like Telegram, where I'm like, I am not going on there. It's just like a fest of spam stuff. So I know some people are really a lot more on Twitter than they are on Discord, which I understand, but I love Discord. It's probably because I'm used to it though.
Well, it's also interesting because they're paying attention. They're in Discord. They're seeing stuff. They're just not, actively chatting every day, which is fine. So they're keeping up.
Yeah,
it's
for
just
sure.
We might not recognize them because of that. Whereas the holder survey really kind of helps say, okay, here's all these other holders that we don't see all the time.
Yeah, no, and the feedback from the survey was great. It was fun because obviously we were already writing this whole thing that we released this morning up in the background anyways, and then to see the holder feedback, like, to be honest, a lot of it, obviously we knew where the big questions were going to be at, and it was perfect because it all sort of lined up. So it was great to have that release this morning, give you guys sort of a preview, or I guess it's, to be honest, we only have an hour on this AMA. We're totally going to run long, I'm sure of it. But that vlog is there for anybody to like look back to. If you've read it 3 times over because you're excited, you're awesome.
I wanted to take a moment and personally thank everyone that filled out that survey. I'm reading through those. I've gone through each and every one of those, and I appreciate all the time you spent pouring your soul into what you thought. And it helped kind of create some of this. And we appreciate that.
No, this was awesome. I mean, yeah, like echoing Mike, thank you guys so much. We're really excited to turn this new leaf and get you guys, unveiling things to you guys much sooner and really bringing you through the process of like how we've been building everything in the background, how it's all going to be released. It's really, I mean, for me, it's really interesting. I think for some of you it is as well. So we'll be sharing more of that. And I'm really excited to launch and iterate and have you guys along the journey with us for everything. This has been such an amazing time so far, and I can imagine where we're going to be headed with our team that is like really getting fully stacked with everything that we need to create something even bigger and really special. So thank you guys. Thank you so much, Mike, for hosting. You are an awesome host. I was telling him the other day, I love his voice for hosting and like sounds like you could be on the radio. So you are an amazing host. Everyone who came up and asked questions, thank you. Everyone who asked questions in Discord, who filled out the survey, you guys are awesome. Congrats to those winners of the mech parts. I want to see your mechs once you put them together, and we'll just keep going from here. So thank you all. And we'll see you guys at the town hall and all the future AMAs and Discord.
Good night, all.
Bye, guys.